Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another podcast NFL YouTube video. Today, I am with my friend Frank. He's going to help me talk about news in the NFL. Unfortunately, our friend Nando was not able to make it today. He was out sick. Nando.
Get better, Nando.
Get better, man. Frank, how about we get into it, man?
Sure.
So first, everybody, we are going to go down to Dallas. All right, man. Cooper Rush is 4-0. The only Dallas quarterback to ever be 4-0. I mean, what do you think? He's actually been playing pretty well.
Yeah, it's been really surprising. I thought Dallas was going to fall and go 1-3 or like 2-2, something like that. But he's really been pulling them together. And the defense has been big, but
Yes,
him controlling the offense, taking the checkdowns, he's been playing really good.
very. Yeah, and I mean, Michael Gallup just came back last week, actually. And he scored a touchdown. If you watched the game, of course, it was not televised. There was only 2 games televised. I personally believe every game should be televised, but the Cowboys defense, they're very good, just like you said. They're led by the one, the only Micah Parsons, of course, who actually hasn't had a sack in the past 2 weeks, which is surprising to me. But I mean, before that, the first 2 weeks he was record-setting pace.
Yeah, he's been doing really good. Trevon Diggs had the interception on Wentz.
Yes.
I don't know how many sacks they got on him, but they got a lot of pressure on them, and I actually bet on Dallas this week, and I won.
Oh, wow.
Their defense did a really extraordinary job.
Yes. The Cowboys are still unsure to when Dak Prescott will be back. As long as Cooper Rush, plays the way he is and just keeps going, I think the Cowboys are perfectly fine without Dak. And just, when is Dak going to be able to grip the ball the way he used to again? When is he going to regain that arm strength, that finger grip strength, that you need to have to throw the ball downfield?
Yeah, I remember Jerry Jones was talking about it, and he said, Dak's still not ready. So they're versing the Rams this week, and the Rams are banged up at offensive line, so that should help Dallas.
Yeah.
They're really just a one-man team with Cooper Kupp just throwing him the ball, so if they lock him down, they should win.
Yeah.
And then next week, they're versing the Eagles, so I don't know if they want to throw Dak in against the Eagles or wait another week.
Yeah.
I think they're going to take week by week, see how...
Yeah, I think it's just all week by week. It's up to him. It's really not up to them.
Mm-hmm.
They can't say he's ready to go in if he's not ready, and at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it's like the Rams, they're good.
Mm-hmm.
They did just lose to the 49ers. Couldn't score a touchdown, but I think they're going to play rough against the Cowboys. Cooper Kupp, of course, you covered that already. He is a great receiver, debatably the best in the entire NFL.
Mm-hmm.
And
also Higbee. Higbee was pretty good in that. I lost in the fantasy league because of Higbee. Darrell Henderson, the running back, and Cam Akers, they've been a little in and out, but they have been good.
Yeah.
They got to get Allen Robinson involved. That's the main thing. They signed him in the free agency. I think it was $15 million, something around there, but he just hasn't seen a lot of targets. He hasn't really gotten open.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's scheme. I don't know if it's design, but they got to get him more involved in that offense.
I 100% agree with you there.
Especially without Odell and Van Jefferson being out for a couple weeks.
Yes. The key for the Cowboys in this game is that they need to throw Matt Stafford off.
Mm-hmm.
So their defensive line has been pretty great these first 4 weeks, but they need to stay great. They need to beat these teams.
Yeah.
You could say what you want. Yeah, the Cowboys just beat the Giants and the Washington Commanders, but they didn't beat Tampa Bay, which I think that was definitely a winnable game coming into week one with the rosters. They beat Cincinnati, which a lot of people were actually surprised. Did have a close game there. The Cowboys, they could be first half team, they could be a second half team, they could be bad all game, they could be good all game.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a different game plan every single week. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, I think their pass rush is the main reason that they're going to win or lose that game. I think the Rams are out. They're starting center and a tackle.
Okay.
And plus, Andrew Whitworth retired, so they don't have him anymore, the All-Star. But they need to keep pressure on Matthew Stafford and make it uncomfortable. I saw a stat that Matthew Stafford got hit, I think, 16 or 17 times.
That's crazy.
In 4 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, all right. So that covers the Dallas Cowboys for all you fans out there. Now we're going to go to one of our Pennsylvania teams, the Pittsburgh Steelers. Frank, how about that quarterback situation? Who will start this week? Is it Trubisky?
That Pickett will start against the Buffalo Bills.
Folks, you heard it here first.
Yeah. So Trubisky has been on and off the whole year. I know a lot of Steelers fans. Almost all of them were calling for Pickett.
Yeah.
He's been in Pitt for 4 years. Then I believe he's the most quarterback ready. And the offense, he just gave them a spark during that Jets game. Even though they lost, they scored touchdowns with him. They moved the ball down the field with him. So I think he just provided a better spark than Trubisky ultimately did.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I agree with Frank there, actually. I believe Kenny Pickett does deserve to start. Mitch Trubisky has been on and off. Mm-hmm. He's just... Some days he just plays really great, and then other days, he just can't repeat that. As that quarterback that they're relying on this year, you have to be able to just take your team by the horns and just lead your locker room,
Yeah.
Lead them to victory. Show them what they need to do to win.
And they also have to get Najee Harris going. They have not got him involved at all. I mean, he's been rushing here and there, but they got to get involved in the passing game with Pickett. You got to get Deontay Johnson. Claypool hasn't been getting very involved. Pat Freiermuth.
Yeah.
And also the George Pickens, their rookie wide receiver, has looked really good.
Yeah.
The first couple of weeks.
Yeah. And I mean, Kenny Pickett, yes, people will say, the stats will say that he threw 3 interceptions, but I mean, 2 of those interceptions weren't even really his fault. Number 1, he threw up a Hail Mary. Number 2, it was tipped off of the receiver's hands.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And that was just a tip interception. I mean, I only say that 1 interception was his fault.
Yeah.
And
also the Steelers' defense did fall apart at the end.
They did.
If Nando's listening to this, the Jets led a great fourth quarter comeback and ultimately beat the Steelers' defense with their throwing ability. And I don't know what the Steelers got to do different. Obviously they have to get more pressure, but you just can't lose to the Jets like that. Yes.
And Nando, I mean, we picked right last week with our Jets, They did it. They beat Pittsburgh. I mean, Zach Wilson, comeback player of the year, But, yeah. So, let's get to our next topic of the day today. The Rams and the 49ers. So, Frank, the 49ers held the Rams to 9 points. That's 3 field goals. So, what did you see in the 49ers? And what did you see what didn't you see in the Rams?
I think the 49ers, first of all, Jimmy G, I don't know why they wanted to trade him, move off him. He looked really good at throwing to Debo.
100%.
Kittle didn't get that many targets, but he looked good. And their other receivers like Ayuk just got involved. Yes. Also, the running game got involved. The 49ers got a little bit of everything going against the Rams, and they have their number in the regular season.
Yes.
For the Rams, as we mentioned, Cooper Kupp is the only one really getting open for that team.
Yeah.
Allen Robinson isn't cutting it. They got to rework that. And they're also a couple injuries away from getting healthy with the O-line and Van Jefferson.
Yeah, and it's just Cooper Kupp, like, don't get me wrong, he's, like, debatably the best receiver in the league, but you can't just rely on one guy every single play. You have to have somebody else who rises to that occasion, you know? Who just gets there, who gets himself open down the field so you can make that pass. Or your quarterback's just going to be getting hit all day.
Yeah.
You know, it's plain and simple.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I mean, the 49ers, they looked very good. You know, Jimmy Garoppolo, especially. Brandon Ayuk actually won me my league in fantasy this week. Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate it. But, yeah, I love what the 49ers are doing, especially on offense. I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo, he just reads the field.
Yeah.
Just, like, really well.
He finds the open receivers, and I think they can really make a push for the playoffs this year.
I agree.
If the Rams are still banged up, Seattle, we don't know what's going to happen with them. We don't know what happens to Arizona because they're still missing DeAndre Hopkins. They're versing the Eagles this week. So
right.
I think the 49ers can make a real push for that 1 seed in the NFC West.
Oh, I agree. And, the NFC, it's not really looking that great this year, to be honest with you. Of course, Philadelphia, who is still the only undefeated team.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, Dallas is looking pretty good right now at 3-1. The Giants are surprisingly 3-1. They might be the shock of the season right now. The Tampa, they're 2-2. The Rams are 2-2. The 49ers are still 2-2. A lot of teams are 2-2. I mean, that whole NFC West is 2-2.
Yeah.
The Seahawks have the same record as the Rams.
Yeah.
As much as it can be hard to believe.
Yeah, and even Geno Smith is outplaying a lot of people.
Yes.
A lot of people thought that offense wasn't going to be good, but Geno Smith is stepping it up and making big plays with DK, Tyler Lockett, and some other players on the Seattle offense.
Yes. That shootout versus the Detroit Lions, that was a really good game, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Detroit was going to pull that away from them, but Seattle shocked me there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Yeah, so, all right, we are going to switch the topic once again for you guys. Frank's team, the Dolphins, play Nando's team, the Jets, this week. Now, unfortunately, Nando, like we said earlier, could not be here today. Feel better once again. But the controversy could still happen between the two of them while they're away. Frank, what do you got?
All right. Well, the Dolphins are starting Teddy Bridgewater because everyone knows what happened with Tua and his concussion.
Very unfortunate.
So Waddle is questionable. I'm pretty sure he'll go. Xavier Howard is questionable. He's trying to suit up. Not sure if he's gonna. Byron Jones is still out.
Yeah.
So the Dolphins are missing some defensive corners, and they play man on defense, so that's really big.
Right.
Their best two corners. So the Jets have looked good. Jack Wilson had some questionable throws, but he had some good throws too at the end of that Steelers game.
Yeah.
They have good receivers. Garrett Wilson. They have Mims. They have, I forget some other people they drafted. Nanda would know if he's here, but I don't know all the Jets receivers, but I think it's going to be a really close game. I think it's in New York.
Okay.
I think the Dolphins are going to win.
Right.
But I think it's going to be a closer game. One possession game. Maybe they win on a field goal. Maybe it's like 4 or 5 points. But I think the Jets are going to hold their own against the Dolphins.
Yeah, I mean, they might too because, like he just said, the Dolphins are missing some pretty valuable pieces on the team now. I mean, now Xavier Howard's questionable. Byron Jones is still going to be out. We're not sure for how long yet. Tua is going to be out for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can get back as soon as he could. Bring the Dolphins right back to where they were before he left. And hopefully Teddy Bridgewater, for the Dolphins fans, could get it done, especially against the Jets here, and especially against these teams that are definitely beatable. You know?
I'm wondering how they're going to open up the playbook for Teddy because it's his first week practicing with all the ones.
Right.
He really threw to Tyreek Hill. That's about it. Last week, Tyreek had, I think, 10 catches, 160 yards.
Yeah.
Waddle and Gesicki didn't really see that much action, so
yeah.
I'm wondering to see if they'll start with the running game, they'll start with the play action or passing game.
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious to see how that Dolphins offense will look to attack the Jets defense.
Yeah. And I mean, I feel like they have to mix it up a little bit just because, of course, it was Tua's game plan.
Yeah.
You know, and they are doing that with a left-handed quarterback, the only left-handed quarterback in the league right now. You know, now they're coming in with a new right-handed quarterback, Teddy Bridgewater. I mean, he isn't a bad backup. You know, we all definitely know Teddy Bridgewater could get the job done. You know, there's definitely worse in the league. But we'll see what the game plan is. I'm definitely excited to watch that game this weekend. Definitely a topic of conversation for next week.
Yeah, and also the Dolphins did start Raheem Mostert over Chase Edmonds last week, so I'm going to continue that trend or lead back to Edmonds against the Jets.
Yeah. I mean, if they start Mostert too, that just adds another weapon, especially by speed. Mostert's quick. Tyreek Hill is quick.
Yeah.
Jalen Waddle is quick. Mike Gesicki, I mean, he's not obviously as quick as them. You know, he's a manageable tight end. He's probably top 10 in the NFL.
Yeah, and also if the Jets, I wonder how they're going to play their backfield with Breece Hall and Michael Carter. I wonder if they're going to do a 50-50 split.
Yeah.
Or start Breece over Michael or vice versa, Michael over Breece.
Yeah.
But that'd be interesting to see how the Jets do on offense. I want to see if they're going to be targeting the Dolphins' corners or kind of just work their way through the running game first.
Yeah. I'd definitely like to see the spotlight on Sauce Gardner facing a veteran, which is going to be Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to see how that plays out this weekend, you know, because it's just, that's going to be something to watch, especially.
Yeah.
Something to zone in on.
Yeah, I think they're going to still be targeting Tyreek, but I haven't seen much of Sauce Gardner, but I've heard he has been really good.
Yeah, me too.
In not allowing catches or deep catches, you know. A few receptions here and there, but I heard he's been one of the best corners as of right now.
Yes. All right, guys. So, the last thing we're going to do for you guys for the video today, we are going to give you guys our Week 5 NFL game picks. Frank, if you don't mind pulling that up for us.
So, I'll start off with tonight's game, Thursday Night Football, Week 5, the Broncos versus the Colts.
Okay.
So, the Broncos, obviously, Javonte Williams is out for the year.
Yeah. That's unfortunate.
That sucks. Yeah, he's been a really great running back.
Yeah.
They still have Melvin Gordon. I think they're missing some defensive receivers. Obviously, Tim Patrick's still out with the receiving core. I think Justin Simmons is out as well. And the Cowboys person that came over to Denver, I forget his name.
Randy Gregory.
Randy Gregory.
Yes.
He might be in or out. It's kind of a game time decision.
Yeah.
Also on the Colts side, Jonathan Taylor's out.
Right.
That's a big loss for them.
Yeah.
Darius Leonard, I think he changed his name to Shaq Leonard. I was looking it up today.
Yeah.
He's also out.
Oh.
So I think it's going to be a very low-scoring game.
Yeah, me too.
And probably come down to a one-possession game. I'm guessing Denver is going to pull it out just because I have faith in Russell Wilson and that offense more than Matt Ryan and Michael Pittman, whoever else they have on that team.
Yeah. And I'm going to have to agree with Frank here. I believe after hearing all that, that's Denver and the Colts will play like a shootout game. I'd be surprised. I think Denver takes this very close.
Yep. All right, the next game is in London, the Packers versus the Giants. Okay. I don't think there's many injuries. I know Daniel Jones got banged up, but I think he's playing.
He should be.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is.
Giants fans, correct us.
Yeah, let us know in the comments below if he's playing. But
yes.
I think Packers going to win that. Rodgers looked... Now, the Packers against New England, that was a really tough game to watch because they went into overtime, New England, with their third-string quarterback.
Yeah.
I think his last name was Zappy, something like that. But
yeah.
The Packers offense didn't really look that good. Allen Lazard got going, but Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon didn't really get involved in the offense as much as you'd like to see.
Yeah, and they need to.
Yeah.
You know?
And Romeo Doubs and Christian Watson. I know Romeo Doubs had a touchdown, but Christian Watson, the first round or second round pick, didn't really get much action either.
Right. So you have the Packers winning that one?
Yes, I have Packers winning. So.
All right.
I think it'll be closer than people expect.
Yeah. I also agree. It will be. I think it will be very close. Saquon Barkley's having a pretty great year right now. Hoping that he does not get injured again. I'm hoping he plays out the rest of this year because we all hate to see a guy get injured, no matter what team he's on. You know.
And also the Giants. I think they lost Sterling Shepard and Kenny Galladay might be out as well. So they're not going to have many receiving targets to throw to. I know they still have Tooney.
Yeah.
If he's still in some other players too as well.
Yeah. I'm going to have to take the Packers here as well. I just think that maybe this week the Packers will bounce back with the running game a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon will get involved a little more. Put A.J. Dillon in the slot, maybe at a receiver position this week, try to get more of those touchdowns. Packers.
The next game, Patriots versus the Lions. I don't know if Brian Hoyer is playing or the third string will still be playing. But in this game, I actually have the Patriots upsetting the Lions.
Whoa.
And also, I know the Patriots are wearing their throwback uniforms. I just think the Patriots are a much better coach than the Lions. The Lions have given up 40 points to Seattle, 35 or 40 to the Eagles, and in the other game they played, they gave a lot of points as well.
Yeah.
I just think the Patriots are going to win a very close and more defensive game.
Okay. This is going to be the first time that me and Frank disagree for the day. I am taking the Lions. The Patriots, they're just really not that great. And the Lions just scored 45. They're the highest scoring NFL team in the league. I mean, yeah, they've given up the most points as well, but if they could just stop them a few times, especially when it matters, Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, and
Jeff Okudah.
I don't know if Amon St. Brown is playing or DeAndre Swift is playing, so that's why I'm just going to lean towards. So. They are both playing, you think?
I believe at least one of them is.
Okay. Yeah, I'm still going to lean Patriots, though, because the coaching, I just think they have a better coaching mismatch.
Okay.
The next game is the Browns versus the Chargers.
Okay.
And in this game, I actually have the Browns upsetting as well, because I just don't think the Chargers looked really good last week.
Yeah.
I just think they looked really too good, so they're just going to fall back to earth a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think the Browns are just going to steal this one off them with their run game with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt and even Amari Cooper getting the ball.
Well, the Browns, they're actually kind of surprising right now. Nick Chubb, Amari Cooper, great players, but the Chargers, Justin Herbert, I'm not going to go against him this week. I think he beats the Browns pretty easily, actually. I don't think it's close at all. Even with the running game of Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, I can't take away the win from the Chargers because, they haven't been playing the greatest team in the NFL. But they haven't been the worst, I'll tell you that.
And I also want to point out Keenan Allen might still be injured. And when they played the Texans, the Chargers did last week, they were up a lot. But then you saw the Texans almost come back with that offense.
That is true.
And I don't know if we can name a lot of Texans offensive players besides Dameon Pierce and David Mills. But I think the Texans even that out to a 5 or 6 score game after they were down almost 20.
Yeah.
So I just don't think the Chargers are going to win because their defense isn't going to be able to stop the run game.
Yeah, and I mean, their defense hasn't been the greatest, but I think the offense should be able to carry them past Cleveland.
All right, the next game, Jaguars versus the Texans. I know the Jaguars looked very sloppy against the Eagles. They had a couple fumbles, a couple interceptions.
Well, they did start pretty well. I mean, it was 14-0 early.
They did start very well. They just couldn't keep their gas to the pedal. They couldn't really get Christian Kirk involved.
Yeah.
Or they couldn't really get James Robinson and that run game involved as well. I think they're going to do both of those things against Houston and get the win.
Yeah. I also agree with that. The Jaguars will probably win this game. They're actually not as bad as people think they are this year, to be honest with you. You know, they started off great against the Eagles this week.
Yeah.
A pick six. Then they got the ball back, scored again. If they could just keep that momentum, they could have beat the Eagles. That could have been Doug Peterson's revenge game.
The next game is Tampa versus Atlanta. Now, I want to remind you, Tom Brady is 7-0 all-time against Atlanta.
Wow.
Either 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And that includes Super Bowl, obviously.
Right, of course.
But I don't think Atlanta's going to be a match for them. I mean, if you look at the quarterbacks, Marcus Mariota versus Tom Brady, that doesn't really seem really fair.
Yeah.
And also, Tampa's reeling off of a big loss to the Chiefs.
Yeah.
And they had to deal with that whole hurricane thing. Hopefully, everyone's all right in Florida.
Yes.
I just think they're going to make a big comeback. I think Godwin's going to get another week under his belt, get healthier.
Yeah.
Mike Evans going to look good. I think Julio will look good. And I think they'll just be too much for Atlanta.
Yeah. I also agree. I think Tampa's going to kill Atlanta once again. 8-0 coming for Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
Or coming for Falcons.
Yeah. And also, so you go ahead.
Yeah. But I mean, the Falcons, their defense, it's in shambles.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but it's just true. It's just the truth.
And also the Falcons, Cordell Patterson's out. He's been a huge part of their run game.
Yes.
And even passing game. Kyle Pitts has not been playing well. I know a lot of us drafted him early in fantasy, but he hasn't really seen the ball. He's been more of a blocking tight end than a receiving tight end because they just need him blocking more because that O-line is a little shaky.
Yeah.
The next game is the Bills versus the Steelers. As much as I would like to say the Steelers can win this game, I have the Bills winning it. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's kind of going to be close till about third quarter. Then the Bills will pull away. But I think Kenny Pickett will lead a couple touchdown drives down the field, maybe get Najee Harris going and those receivers going against the Bills. And then Josh Allen, he's just incredible. I think he's going to be too much for the Steelers' defense.
Yeah. I picked against the Bills last week. If you rewatch our first video, I did pick the Ravens. I thought that they were coming in hot. Buffalo was coming in on a loss to Miami. But this week I will not take the opposite team. Buffalo is going to shatter Pittsburgh. Minkah Fitzpatrick, he's one guy. Against Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis, Dawson Knox.
Yeah.
Bills, easy.
Next game, Dolphins versus Jets. We went over this. I have the Dolphins winning. I think it's going to be lower scoring, a very close competitive match. I think the Dolphins are going to pull away at the end, either with a touchdown drive or a field goal drive, but nothing to take away from the Jets. I think their offense is going to be really good against the Dolphins defense if they don't have Xavier Howard playing.
Yeah.
With or without, I think it's going to be good. But I think it's going to be a close game. Dolphins win at the end.
Yeah, I also believe the Dolphins will carry to 4-1. They only lost to the Bengals because Tua was out. I'm pretty sure everybody thought they were going to win. Nobody expected Tua to get hurt, obviously. But I think the Dolphins take it very close, but...
All right, the next game is the Vikings versus the Bears. I think the Vikings have had the Bears' number in the previous season, so I'm going to take the Vikings again. I do think it'll be closer, though, because that Bears defense is still good. They still have Roquan Smith. They still have Eddie Jackson. They still have and Robert Quinn. They still have a couple good players on defense.
Yeah.
And they're versus Kirk Cousins. I don't know what you want to say about Kirk Cousins, but he is good in some situations. But you just have to get him going on offense. I think it'll be a lower scoring, competitive game, and the Vikings will pull away, though.
I think the Vikings are also going to win this, just because the Bears, they're not that great. But, I mean, I think Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, I think that will carry them past the Bears easily.
The next game is the Titans versus the Commanders.
Okay.
And now, Ron Rivera, People have been calling for his job. He's already 1-3, a couple of seasons in. Not much going with the offense, really.
Yeah.
I think the Titans are going to win this game. I don't think Ron Rivera should get fired, but if they end up keeping the losses up, like if they go like 2-6 or 1-5, something like that, maybe he's gone.
Yeah.
I still want to see how he does. Maybe they can develop Wentz a little bit. That offense is kind of stagnant, but they do have a running back coming back right now. I forget his name, but he was supposed to be the starter for Antonio Gibson, and then he got injured.
Yeah.
But I just think the Titans' defense, their coaching is better than Washington. Obviously, Derrick Henry, Robert Woods, and some other players. I just think they're going to marginally beat Washington.
Yeah. I also believe the Titans will win. I think just because, Derrick Henry is probably going to kill those guys.
Mm-hmm.
They have, their defense isn't terrible.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't think it's good enough to stop Derrick Henry.
That's true.
And I think he'll rush for 1 or 2 touchdowns, and he'll be the reason the Titans win.
Mm-hmm. The next game is the Saints versus Seattle. And Seattle has been very good, but the Saints were without Michael Thomas last week, without Alvin Kamara, and without some other players. So I just think they're going to bounce back this week against Seahawks.
Okay. I'm actually going to take Seattle here. I don't like what I've seen from the Saints so far.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were going to be better.
Yeah.
Seattle just put up 48 points. That was just sub 50.
Yeah.
Close. But they could have done it if they had another 2 minutes on the clock. But I just think Seattle will take this. I don't think they'll blow them out.
Mm-hmm.
But a close win.
I think Saints are going to win this because Marshawn Lattimore, DK didn't. Who did DK go up against the Lions? Like Jeff Okudah?
Yeah.
So I think Marshawn Lattimore is a big upgrade. Top 3,
definitely.
Top 5 corner in this league, and I think he'll be able to minimize DK's impact in this game.
Yes.
The next game is the 49ers and Panthers. Baker is still starting. I know Matt Rule, he has to get some wins, but I don't think they're going to be able to beat the 49ers in this game here.
Yeah.
I just think their offense is going to be too much. Jimmy G is going to move the ball around, minimize the turnovers, and I just think they're going to be able to beat the Panthers.
Yeah. And the 49ers, obviously, like we just covered, they're coming off a huge win against the Rams. They have a lot of momentum right now, and I don't think it's stopping to the Carolina Panthers. So I think the 49ers win big here just because it's just they got the offense. They have Debo. They have Ayuk, Kittle.
Yeah.
They have Jeff Wilson Jr., who really hasn't been terrible.
The next game is the Eagles versus the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And I have the Eagles winning that game, improving to 5-0.
Wow.
I think that's going to start off rocky. Like Jacksonville game, I think Cardinals might be up a couple points there, but I think the Eagles are just going to find a way to come back.
Yeah.
And beat the Cardinals.
Yeah. And I also believe, unfortunately for me, that the Philadelphia Eagles are going 5-0. The Cardinals are hit or miss. That's the thing. They could be great in 1 week. They could be absolutely terrible the other week. That week where they beat the Raiders in overtime, that was phenomenal for them. But there's been other weeks that they just they're not doing it. They're not playing well like they should.
And also Philly's offense, they got Miles Sanders going. He had a couple touchdowns. I think it was 1 or 2.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith and Dallas Goedert. Who is Arizona going to put on those guys to cover them? You know what I mean? They've just been so good this year.
They have Buda Baker, but that's
only one person.
Yeah.
And then Jalen Hurts, the passing game and the running game have both been amazing for the Eagles.
Yes. Yeah, so the Eagles will probably take that.
And then the Rams versus the Dallas. I have the Rams barely winning this by a fingertip.
Wow.
I think they're going to win on a field goal. I think it's going to be really close, though. I don't think it's going to be a shootout because the defenses are just going to outplay the offenses in this game, especially with the Rams' offense very banged up. I think Dallas is going to get a couple sacks, maybe a fumble, maybe interception, And I think the same thing with the Rams. I think Cooper Rush, I think he'll have a good game, but not as good as he's been playing.
Yeah. And he covered everything there. Both of these defenses are really superior right now. These are right now probably 2 top 5s in the league. And it's going to show. Unfortunately, I got to say, Cooper Rush will be taking his first ever NFL loss against the Rams this week. Very close. It's going to be devastating for him because he wants 5-0 so bad. Because he's just on a streak right now and he doesn't want to lose that. But eventually he's going to. And this is the week. Close.
And also the matchups will be really good.
Yeah.
Trevon Diggs against Cooper Kupp.
Yes.
And then on the other side, it's going to be CeeDee Lamb against, what's his name? Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
And say what you want about Jalen Ramsey and Trevon Diggs, but I think they're going to do really good.
Yeah.
Against those receivers because of that defensive line push.
And honestly, guys, it might come down to whoever's blocking better.
Mm-hmm.
Like the offensive lines, it could come down to that at the end of the day. Got to stop the sacks.
The next game, the Sunday night football game, is going to be the Ravens versus Cincinnati.
Okay.
I think the Ravens are going to beat Cincinnati. I know the Ravens, honestly, at this point, they should be 4-0.
Yeah.
They shouldn't have lost to the Dolphins if they just played the defense correctly. They shouldn't have lost to the Bills. If Lamar didn't throw the interception in the end zone, they could have kicked that field goal, went up 23-20, and made the Bills go all the way downfield and score a touchdown on them.
Yeah.
I think the Ravens are going to finally pull out a win this week, though.
Yeah. I also agree. I think the Ravens are going to kill the Bengals. This shouldn't be close. I mean, yeah, the Ravens haven't finished their games the greatest, but I think they'll pull away from the Bengals pretty easily.
Yeah. And then the last game, the Monday Night Football game, is the Chiefs versus the Raiders. The Raiders are coming off their first win of the season against Denver, but I don't think they're going to keep that up because I think the Chiefs' offense, we all saw them Sunday night. I think they're going to be too much for the Raiders. And I just think Derek Carr and their offense won't be able to keep up with Mahomes.
Yeah, and I agree. I think the Chiefs are going to beat the Raiders. The Raiders are going to go to 1-4, which is really one of the bigger surprises of the season.
Yeah.
But so, guys, this is going to end the video here. I appreciate everyone who watches once again. Thank you so much. Everybody, please, if you want, hit the like and subscribe button down below. Watch it as many times as you please. Thank you, Frank. Have a good one, everybody.